In 2004, Angela Militopoulos, a German with Greek roots, and I, a Turkish-born German, viewed the Green Line and held dialogues with the residents from both sides. I stand in front of this hole in the fence. From the Turkish side, I look down onto the Greek side. It hits me that this situation is idiotic, absurd, and deadly serious, all at the same time. The hole to Europe. Looking down, Lefkosa. Looking up, Nicosia. Two names for the same city. A ridiculous installation, as if the owners of the fence in the north wanted to say, "You see, it stands for freedom, for an opening, but only wide enough for a child to fit through. You could hold a child through the hole, but you have to lift it back again, or let it fall. Maybe someone will break the fall." Although there have been numerous attempts to reunite the island since then, the absurdity of the situation hasn't changed much. Cyprus is called a diplomat's burial ground, like Palestine and Korea. My colleague Angela wrote in 2004, "For me, Cyprus is not a Greek-Turkish battle. It's a metaphorical zone for the battle between global power and local helplessness, a kind of correctional institution which is now falling apart. I'd really like to understand how Cyprus became a plaything, how people live with this mistreatment, and whether they have a chance for freedom. But instead of chasing answers, I'll probably walk along the fence with children, and hopefully they will point out the real and the loopholes. I hope their small bodies can crawl under the barbed wire and come out happy on the other, forbidden side to play and plan with each other."
Büyüyünce ne olmak istiyorsunuz?
Formüle yarışlarına
Sen
katılmak
misin o?
istiyorum.
Ne yaptın? Sen?
Ben futbolcu olacağım.
Ben öğretmen veya bilgisayar mühendisi.
Pilot. Uçak pilotu.
Evet, biz Avrupa Birliği'ne girmek istiyoruz.
As a child in Istanbul, I often thought about perspectives. I remember feeling angry because the face of my snowman could only be seen from the house. I also wanted to see the carrot nose of my snowman when I climbed up the hill where our house stood. So I gave my snowman two faces, one to see while climbing the hill, one to see from the window, a Janus head. But a subject of such complexity, with the perspectives of the island Greeks on one side, the island Turks on the other side, the established residents on both sides, and that of the people who fled from one side to the other, can they all be shown in a film? Then came the idea of a non-linear documentary which allows the viewer to make his own path through the chaos of feelings and thoughts, through the jungle of various Janus snowman perspectives. Here are a few samples from the interviews. Solon and Nilgün both remember the civil war and the Turks taking possession of the northern parts of the island. They experienced this on different sides of the front. Solon was 4 years old back then. He comes from a Greek Cypriot family.
So, on the morning of July of 1974, the area was covered with parachutes of the paratroopers who were falling in the area just outside Nicosia. And my mother took me, my brother, who was 1, I was 4, and my grandmother, and we got into the car and ran, like many other refugees, away from our houses to the safety of the mountains that we can see later on that direction, the mountains of Troodos.
12-year-old Nilgün was on the other side as it rained with Turkish paratroopers.
Bütün bu arka ovalara, Mesarya Ovası'na böyle bembeyaz bir sürü paraşüt inerdi. Çok net hatırlarım bunu. Sonra başladı savaş, uçaklar. O uçakları asla unutmayacağım. Bizim evin yanından alçalırlar, Rum tarafına inerlerdi. Görürdük içinde pilotları.
I remember the day vividly. I was very young, but some events mark our lives forever. And the morning of 1974 is one of those events. I remember running under my bed to get my plastic pistol to go to war because the battle started very early in the morning. By 7 or 8 o'clock, when we had to leave our houses, you could hear the mortar and the bombings very clearly.
Benim babam sabah saat 6.30'da paraşütler inerken vuruldu. Cephede vuruldu. Yani babamın bölük komutanıydı. Çıkmış kontrol etsin şeyleri. A4 tutukluk yapmış, çocuklar da düzeltememişler. Çıkmış onu düzeltti. Şeyden girdi, mazgal deliğinden. Girdi kurşun. İlk şehit. Yani savaşta sabah ilk şehit. Dürbünlü silahla vuruldu dediler, bilmem.
Perceptions and memories of events are often curious. Here we want to look at perspectives, at the other's point of view. It's about how truth can be formed and what reality consists of. The individual statements, in the form of 2 to 4 minute clips, have a wealth of information, which make new sense depending on the particular context. With the help of keywords, individual cuts can be made which vary each time. Statements have a contextual and technical link to other statements. This technique, implemented by Robert Ivnik and Benjamin Novak, allows a three-dimensional topography of history with many complementary, contradictory and corrective stories. This non-linear documentary includes all points of view with which the observer is then able to create his own 3D view. Each person will handle the material in the documentary in a different way. This, of course, can be one-sided. Out of all this one-sidedness, a complete picture can be built. Not everyone needs to be objective, not everyone can be objective. But something will come out of all these subjective views, something new perhaps, something exciting. In addition, there is a 3D look at the outside, from local to global. Kosovo, Bosnia or Palestine, similar negative states. And to round off, a look at those directly linked to Cyprus, those that influence Cypriotic politics, the guarantor powers Great Britain, Greece, Turkey, and of course the USA. What can be seen from the available material is the state of mind caused by the regulation of this rising conflict. Above all, the inherent distrust between the peoples on both sides of the island. To top all this off, on my way back to Cologne I had to do a German test before leaving Paphos, which I didn't even need to do when I became a German citizen. The Greek Cypriotic customs officer called over some other German passengers to chat with me. He simply wouldn't believe that I was German. With my name I was more than likely a spy from the north. With this last impression I bid farewell to the island of Aphrodite. It was exactly on this spot, where my plane was starting, that she emerged from the water. On the west side of the island, Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
Why this island here of Aphrodite is Laphrodite?
Well, this I don't know how to explain this question.
Hello.
Hello?